But Turkey is now also a part of the North American Federation. Unfortunately for them, Putin's been listening to some Serbian music recently. We'll see if he ever removes that from his playlist. Real quick, major announcement, guys. Yes, Paintbrush Boy is back. That's right. I mean, well, kind of. It's never gonna be where it was before. I don't think that shit was crazy. But I don't know. I could probably do another Bob Ross episode if I had to. No, fuck no. We're not doing that shit again. All right, so today we are watching the U.S. versus Russia in the modern day mod. Now it seems like the Americans have a pretty big advantage, but we did see a lot of crazy things happen in that last video, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like that here. Now, I'm assuming the biggest challenge for Putin is actually going to be NATO. Even though we're not technically starting off with any factions, more than likely something will form up in this region. So yeah, Russia better find some friends. And no, I don't think it's gonna be China because they've got some ideological differences, unless the Soviet Union pops up, which I seriously doubt. So finally, after 70 years of buildup and just a ton of blue balls from the whole Cold War, we finally have World War III. All right, so this is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be the place of conflict for the most part. I still don't know if the Americans will be able to land, at least anytime soon, in Siberia, but we'll see. We'll definitely have to watch for this little island we have here. I didn't even know this place existed, to be honest. Oh yeah, it's already starting. The Americans are sending over a ton of divisions, kind of just south of Japan, which, speaking of the Japanese, yep, the US kind of has a little bit of experience with the whole Pacific theater. It's kind of weird that the Russians don't have anything over here. Why aren't they protecting their gulags? Yeah, that was quick. Wow, they are already just moving straight over, which I think they're gonna make multiple successful landings. Damn, yeah, I should have realized this is gonna be Putin's biggest problem. I mean, first of all, the Russians don't have much of a navy, but definitely not much of a navy in the Pacific, so yeah, this could be bad. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and look at the fleets of both nations. It seems like I was correct. It's pretty one-sided. Hey, but there you go. You gotta do what you gotta do. I, for one, am all for this strategy. Haha, I love North Korea. Oh, and I should have mentioned this, like, right off the bat, but this scenario is assuming both countries believe in the whole MAD thing, mutually assured destruction. So yeah, no nukes, or at least not here in the very beginning. But as time goes by and places get more desperate, that might change. Oh, we actually have combat, real-ass combat, just north of the Japanese mainland. The US, once again, is trying to island hop here. Uh-oh, and here comes the first faction. Merkel now joining the Americans, and Poland is now involved as well. Okay, so again, like I said in the very beginning, these are the countries that Putin really has to worry about, because if they get some sort of mainland border and there's actually a front line, it's likely he'll lose his capital. Oh boy, okay, well that is not good. I don't know where the Russian divisions are going. I think they might be heading back towards the west. Bad idea. Yeah, the reason for that is, oh, I think did they land, oh, they did. Wow, I wasn't expecting this. Either way, that is gonna fail miserably, as well as Russia's gonna lose this territory as soon as Poland gets involved in the war. I don't know how they're not in it just yet. I don't know if I mentioned this, but Turkey is now also a part of the North American Federation. Unfortunately for them, Putin's been listening to some Serbian music recently. We'll see if he ever removes that from his playlist. It's about time. Okay, I was getting a little afraid that Russia wasn't gonna form some sort of equivalent team to the CSTO. The European Entente has a couple former Soviet states, and they'll definitely get more too. And luckily for them, they've been able to shut down these American naval invasions. They definitely got a better control over this one over here, although it's going to continue to be a big problem for them. Wow. All right, well, here's our first big surprise of this video. There's some European nations that have chosen not to join the de facto NATO of this map. Now, that might definitely change, but at this point, that's some great news for Russia. Yeah, there's a clear divide going on in Europe right now. Some nations just don't want to go to war with Russia, and honestly, I don't really blame them. Whew, damn, Vladdy, you have gotten lucky. You've gotten incredibly lucky. This is all you got to deal with right now, because for some reason, everyone else has joined the other team. Wow, that is huge. I feel like all he needs to do right now is just try to survive. Just try to survive for as long as possible. Eventually something will happen, specifically with China, I think. Oh, well, this is gonna be kind of a problem. Didn't realize Belarus has already fallen. Poland now has an immediate border with the enemy. All right, wait a second. Now this could be a huge, huge problem for Europe. Hungary is now justifying on Slovenia, which both countries are a part of opposite European factions. Is this gonna possibly be the downfall of this entire continent? That'd be just horrible. Oh, what a nice sneaky naval invasion by the Russians. Unfortunately, you're gonna fail, but nice try. Oh, this is kind of surprising. I didn't think you would allow this. doesn't seem right after, everything that happened between you guys. It's nice to see you just kind of got over that. All right, so here's some small good news for Russia. Egypt just declared war on Israel. Let's hope their war lasts longer than 6 days. But yeah, as more wars pop up, we'll see a lot more nations join this European Entente. Also, this is kind of important to highlight. Yeah, if this divide in Europe didn't happen, Russia would be done. They would have no chance at this point. Just wanted to point that out here. Wow, I totally missed out on Brazil going nationalist and them just taking out Venezuela. All right. And no, I don't think Hungary's going to do it. He's got 2 chances. He can go after either Slovenia or Austria. Both countries are part of the other faction. It doesn't matter. He's bitched out. Oh, the US just landed from the Black Sea. All right, yeah, that's going to be a big problem. Especially because this front with Poland is obviously still giving them lots of trouble. Well, that's definitely not what I expected. But I guess since Donald Trump's a little bit distracted, China thinks they can do whatever they want. Oh, and what a slap in the face. China's become the new Soviets. You gonna let them do that, Putin? Well, so far, this conflict's pretty 50-50. We've done Millennium Dawn games quite a bit, and I don't know, India and China is always a toss-up. Oh, nice. Korea just went progressive. We saw kind of hints of this in the last video. I didn't really think it would actually happen, though. Well, Vladdy, it's over. It's over. You had a nice run. You actually made it way longer than I expected, but I think you let the wrong person in your faction. Maybe it was Malaysia. I'm not sure. Yeah, whoever it was, you called the other side of Europe in, so I guess you're finally going to be sent to your own gulag. And there it is. The Russian winters apparently don't help much in 2018. Especially when the Americans have Fortnite soldiers that can just build shelters anywhere. All right, but we do need to look for the fallout of this major power. Poland took 14 states, the US took 1. But what happens now? We still have a very divided Europe, as well as some people got, I think, a little bit more than others. Specifically Poland, when they took the most territory, and they now have 4 different puppets. All right, well, what happens now? And once again, we do have the African alliance forming up. And yeah, there are also a couple nations that have decided to leave their factions up here. So yeah, that whole BRICS thing, that like super group between Russia, China, India, South Africa, Brazil, yeah, obviously that's fallen apart. We've got the Russians that are just a puppet now. China and India are getting into it. South Africa is a part of this whole new faction, so I don't think they're going to be doing much. Brazil, however, is looking, I think, the best out of that former team. They're taking more territory, and I'm sure they won't stop there. Okay, well, a whole new power is rising. China just put communism in charge of India. That's kind of scary. And now France just messed up pretty badly as well. Yeah, that was a mistake. Oh, well, that was nice of China. They just sent the French 8 new divisions. I'm sure that'll be helpful. Wow, and so did the UK, which is kind of a messed up move, seeing as, the US is kind of trying to stop them. Oh, well, now Trump is attacking the entire continent of Africa. Yeah, that's not a good look for you, buddy. So it seems to me, with the fall of Russia, Europe actually became even more divided. Now, France isn't a part of a faction just yet, and these 2 teams aren't at war, but this former NATO region no longer has a big baddie in the east to fear, and now they're just back to fighting each other again. As well as the real threat of China is doing fine, and they're still extremely powerful, if not maybe the strongest in the game at this point. It's definitely possible. I mean, just that manpower in general makes them so difficult to stop. Again, it's important to note that this scenario didn't end up using any nukes. That could have really changed things. I mean, if they did, obviously the Earth would be just on fire right now. Anyways, I would love to keep going, but yeah, the Millennium Dawn mod isn't really doing too well. Yeah, it's not doing too well at all. And while we're on the subject of performance, yes, I did want to use the Modern Day 4 mod for this scenario. That actually was way worse. Like, that could barely move when enough countries are at war, actually just Russia and China. So yeah, unfortunately, it just runs way too slow. I wish there was a way to speed it up. Anyways, guys, let me know which versus match you'd like to see next. I'd like to bring back the EU for another video. Maybe the EU versus China, or the US versus China. I mean, they're the big bad one. I needed to do Russia first because Russia was the one that everyone was talking about, US versus Russia. It's in the news lately. I just kind of wanted to do this one before the end of the world. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. And as always, big thanks to my Patreon supporters: Franco is Thick, Leather Daddy Lennon, Matthew Rembish, Free Cruise, Swiss Argo, Jake Paul's My Daddy, Tyler, Jason Wright, Sean Spillman, Jen's the Love Disc, Matthew King, Roosfurication, Matthew E, Jungkook's Bay, Elijah Senpai, Wyone, and Elfie C.